Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to Firing Range, a podcast to talk about all things Destiny, weapons, abilities, loadouts, and the sandbox at large, and cool guys goatee.
That's right.
Thank you very much for joining us,
That's
everyone.
right.
Boys, I've been dying to talk to you for like 2 weeks. I mean, one, because I miss all of you. I mean, you know, give or take Merc, that guy's like, you know, he's a wild card. Kidding, bro.
Just let this man, he just went.
Like, I only rag on you because you're a Bastion user.
You know that I can't talk back because I got a face full of Wendy's spicy chicken nuggets that I'm dealing with. So.
Yeah, Merc is eating a bunch of nuggies right now because, you know, because he's a spicy guy and we like him. But there you go. Hold up the nuggie
Bastion
there.
break ice?
Yeah. Turns out Bastion works pretty well when people are frozen.
One volley will take out
Confirmed.
probably an entire
Yeah. We have
grenade.
so much to talk about. All memes
my.
aside, glad everyone is here. Merc, love you to death. Good luck on the situation going on with the moving and all that business.
Yeah,
and,
if the webcam suddenly like shakes and then collapses, it's because my folding table has collapsed under the weight of my setup. So
only the most professional setup here, folks. Thank you for joining us on Firing Range, and we hope you're enjoying Beyond Light. Boys, how are we feeling about it? It's been 2 weeks. We were originally going to go live. I mean, we didn't want to go live the first week because we wanted to really dive in. We couldn't, in full confidence, deliver good info to you with only, what, 1 day of playtime? We would only have really early takes.
I think the pause was a good thing.
Me too.
All we would be talking about would be the Warlock melee. If we
Yeah,
did
pretty
it.
much. We'd be talking
Yeah,
about the
true.
overtuned abilities and not
Yeah.
having enough time to really understand it. And then also during the expansion, they started releasing more things that made it better.
Yeah.
Not only
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
sandbox tuning, but like being able to farm for weapons and stuff like that. Like that goes a long way, especially with the raid.
Yeah, I'm glad we took the delay too because Bungie was quick. You know, people were being very vocal about the sandbox, about the instantly overwhelming presence of stasis and how noticeable it was. It was really noticeable for that, what was it, 1 week? Was it a full week or not even a full week?
A
And
week and a half.
props to
something like
them
that.
for putting in a patch, man.
Yeah, really.
that's
I didn't think they would
fastest
move
we've ever
so
seen
quickly.
That from them, like something being blatantly
Yeah.
overpowered, and it doesn't even last, 2 weeks, and they tuned it. That's
Usually we have to
amazing.
wait like
6 months.
season.
a season, yeah.
Yeah.
Quarter.
I went from going to myself, okay, I'm going to be a Claws of Ahamkara Warlock main for like the next half year, to, okay, it's fun. It's not, it's not soul-crushingly effective, but it's still fun. Let's go around. Yeah,
I
go.
was gonna say, I think that it was good that they acted on that so quickly for obvious reasons, but because there were a lot of complaints about stasis being game breaking in PvP, and it seemed like a lot of those actually tied to what the Warlock was. Because now that that has fallen off, I'm hearing a lot
And the
less.
cold snap. And the cold
Yeah,
snap.
And the cold snap,
and
but
cold
both of
snap.
those
It just so
addressed
happened that
right away.
Warlocks had a melee that could instant freeze, a grenade that could instant freeze, and they were going to have a class ability that could also freeze, and a super that was glitched to last for an indefinite amount of time. So it was like, but as soon as that stuff went away, like I'm not hearing as many complaints anymore. I'm now hearing build ideas and strategy suggestions and weapon pairings and stuff like that, which is
Yeah,
amazing because we skipped the 6 months of crying.
Yeah, we condensed it, yeah.
For real.
The community crying.
And I think it's also nice that we waited a little bit and it's kind of marinated. I think all three of these subs are extremely unique and extremely strong at the same time. Like, they're so different when you jump from one. Yes, they share the freezing. Yes, they share the slowing. But the Titan slide, you got the Ninja Stars, you have the Ice Staff, the Gandalf. Like, they all feel really good to play with. And I think, well, I'm not sure what they could do next. I do notice, obviously, we're in a new season. There's a lot more stasis classes than you see light subclasses, even in PvE, in general play. When it comes to raid, it's a little bit different. PvP, it's probably 90% stasis, most of the games that I get in. And I don't think it's one of those things that's kind of like a fad. Like, they're all strong. They're all super strong. What do you guys think?
So I heard a really interesting theory. I don't remember. Someone pointed this out to me on Twitter. But the idea is that they're going to purposely leave the light subclasses weak thematically over the next 2 fall expansions, because we have the Witch Queen and then we have Lightfall, right?
Right.
And what they're going to do is they're going to content vault the light subclasses at Lightfall.
What?
Yeah, and so we'll have 3 darkness subclasses. The 3 light subclasses will go away for a year, and then they'll bring them back with the same treatment that all the darkness subclasses have had.
To be clear, you heard all of this from your uncle who works at Nintendo, right?
Luke Smith straight up called me. He said, "Bro, I want you to break this news on Firing Range. I want to give you guys the ultimate cred."
We met at an In-N-Out, socially distanced, of course.
Appreciate that, Luke.
No, I didn't hear that theory though, because cool guy's right. I mean, in PvP, it's like 90% stasis, and it's really, really hard outside of maybe like Top Tree Dawnblade or something, or Blade Dancer. Like some of the weaker classes that were already weak when we didn't have stasis are now like legitimately they might as well be useless.
What I noticed immediately was, I mean, it's already to a point that they should really consider going back to these light subclasses to add that like some sort of aspect and fragment system, even if it's taken perks. Like I would love for Golden Gun to have an aspect for combustion. Like that makes sense to me. That makes perfect sense to me. And in some of these, you know, older perks from skill trees to add as an aspect or a fragment. Like I would love that.
It's really cracked. The aspect and fragment part plays such a stronger role than I was thinking. It takes any new class and gives it a really more in-depth neutral game, and it pairs really well with other, not even the same subclass, but like other darkness classes. So like if you're a hunter and you're just running around with your new darkness class, right? And then let's say a warlock freezes somebody who you were aping with a shotgun, but now you don't need to waste that shot. You can just do a shatter dive, and like it just works so well, and the neutral game is so strong. I mean, like
they flow nice.
They do, and they're not completely abandoning every other class. I mean, like I played Top Tree Dawn today because it's Top Tree Dawn. It's incredible.
I mean, come on.
But come on. But yeah, they're working very well, and I was sitting down just being like, yeah, they gotta give me an aspect or a fragment on something else, because they're only putting in more, and it just feels really strong. But I want to hear from Cammy and Drew. Cammy, I want to start with you.
Okay.
Which of the new classes, if any, have you been feeling good about, and why?
I played majority Titan, but I've started revisiting the light classes specifically to make a video on countering stasis. And it's funny, as soon as you want to make a video like that, you never run into stasis. I'm
literally
there for
the
10
way of the
lobbies in a
world.
row,
Yeah.
like, where are the ice boys? Like, where are they?
Fighting Top Tree Dawns.
But as soon as, you know, I hit publish on that video, they're all back.
Oh, they're all back.
They gang up on the one light user. I see like 6 of them chasing me. You know, Benny Hill theme with ice going everywhere.
He's standing the Traveler, get him! And they all just
Exactly.
run right at you. Cammy, have you been doing the crazy Titan movement with that icy punch?
Cammy
yeah.
nuts with it.
That's
Cammy
so
is
much
nuts
fun.
with it, dude.
It's so much fun to watch.
I've declared that is my shotgunning subclass of choice because of the hypermobility and just getting into those choke points and out of them. Yeah, it's definitely the call. For sniping though, I've been sticking to anything that can turn a grenade into a one-shot kill.
That's fair. Give a quick tip, under one paragraph, verbally, for the Titan players at home who want to be better at flying around like a crazy person. Like, what's the movement, the general movement tip if people are like, I'm playing an Ice Titan, I don't know how to move quick?
Abuse that slide.
The new, the really long aspect
the new
one?
extended slide that's gonna get you out of trouble on itself. And last resort, burn the melee.
Burn the melee.
Yeah, I find leading with it is less effective, unless you're a Dune Marcher Titan. Then leading with it's really effective, but I like it as a get out of jail free card, similar to the Hunter Dodge. So Titan finally has Hunter Dodge.
That only took 4
That's the way of looking
years.
at it.
Drew,
a lot
what
of people
about
say
you?
the melee also doesn't connect, but that's because they changed the way it functions. You don't click the melee button to melee them. You click or you hold the melee button to track them and release to finish the hit.
Right.
So that's throwing a lot of people off.
It does take a little bit of getting used to, for sure. I found myself in PvE being like, oh, what the hell? Like, flying around. But yeah, you got to work on it a little bit. It takes a little bit of finessing. But if you watch people like Cammy play with that class, you're like, the potential is really big. Drew, what have you been feeling?
As you can probably guess, I'm playing the Hunter. I've been enjoying it a lot. It's I didn't think I'd be enjoying the aspects, no pun intended, of the class that I would be.
Yeah.
I was really excited for dodge to slow, as we talked a lot.
We did talk about that.
Insanely powerful ability.
Yep.
But I don't actually think it's like that strong.
It's
like,
not as. Yeah.
Like really using it that much. It was balanced really well in that it actually provides 4 stacks, so you can't just dodge with 6 coyote to freeze someone. It only gives you 8 stacks of freeze.
Yeah.
Takes 10 or 8 stacks of slow. Takes 10 to
Slow.
freeze.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've really been enjoying is the Shatter Dive. I think that ability is incredible.
It's very good.
Or very early on, I like to believe I was one of the first, to figure out the whole
Glacier Smash.
Glacier Wombo combo.
That's a good combo, yeah.
And that's what I just fully spec into now. I don't even think I run like the increased slow anymore. I just don't really care so much about the slow. Maybe if I was playing with a team that's playing a little bit more slow heavy builds, then I would go into it. But as it currently stands, I'm just like full Shatter Hunter, all into that. Overall, I think Stasis has it has a really high skill ceiling. The Hunter, the Titan. What I love about it is that it allows you to manipulate enemy movement, which is a very valuable thing. But on top of it, it's in many ways given us more movement, which is like a crazy kind of relation, I think.
Yeah,
sure.
like the boost jumps.
Yep.
Yeah, those are great.
The super jumps, the Hunter dive as an evasive movement, the Titan slide, the Titan melee. I feel like Warlock obviously got the short end of the stick on movement, doesn't really have anything, but they've already got top trick on. Their class focuses the most out of the 3 on stopping movement. So I think that's fair, and they get the most aspects. I don't know if we're going to talk about.
Yeah, what the Warlock ended up being is what I envisioned Stasis being. So I was a little disappointed to see that the Titan went hyper movement, but at the same time, I'm not gonna, complain about it because it's the best shotgun class ever.
It's really funny. Yeah, Warlock, I'm feeling very strong area denial, or just controlling enemy movement to a degree. Obviously, it was crazy with the long melee, but still very doable with the short melee. And you got the the aspect, freeze people with the rift.
Yep. Oh yeah, the rift to freeze, it looks really strong. They got 4 fragment slots, which kind of helps make up for that loss of movement, which is good. I don't know. I like the way they've been balanced. Yep.
The fragments also give resilience, which I thought was crazy that it gives you a stat for free. That's huge.
Yeah.
That opens up a lot of builds that you just really have to min-max to get.
The dark classes have a lot in the neutral game.
I like to believe that the dark classes currently, Stasis is on the same level of Spectral Blades, of Top Tree Dawn Blade. Sure. They have that same skill ceiling, and personally I like that. I would like to see other classes also have that same skill ceiling. And I don't know, that's what I enjoy. I love that. I like that relative power. Personally, I like where that's at. It's at a place where it's fun. It feels counterable to me, at least, but it also feels like it gives you a lot of power as an individual to make some crazy plays, and have a lot in your toolbox of plays to make in each engagement. Not to mention what you can do with your team. So,
sure.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. And again, I think it was really key that Bungie shortened the freeze, because what was the freeze duration, like 4.5 whatever on the Warlock melee, which is absurd. It's like if you got tagged with that, it's like engagement over. And now what you have to kind of do is, if you're in the middle of closing the gap on somebody and you hit them with that, great, good job, but you have to close, finish the job, because if you don't move very quickly, you're going to lose that opportunity. And
I just use it more defensively as well. You use
true,
it
yeah, you could
when someone's rushing you, you put it on the ground, you stop them in their tracks, and then you counter them.
That is true, because it has splash damage. It's a really good anti-ape mechanic, especially with that Warlock floof. But we want to hear from you people at home, so hit us up on Twitter. Let us know how you feel about those new classes, and we'll open up a dialogue. You got something for me, cool guy?
When it first came out, there was a lot on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube videos, comment sections saying, "Oh, Stasis has destroyed PvP." Then Merc said something. He's like, "Well," on Twitter, Merc said, "Well, what Stasis is really doing is it's punishing 2 of the greatest things in Destiny that we've always had: hand-holding and running in a straight line. It absolutely punishes those 2 things."
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool for the Crucible. Yeah, it sucks to be froze, especially in the early stages with that Warlock melee. But you know, the all-around movement I've noticed from the general player base has changed. There's a lot less like blindly running, and there's a more calculated plays. When I see someone on a corner, we actually have like a little duel, if that makes sense, instead of someone just running in a straight line at the other person, right? What do you guys think?
It's changed the pacing 100%. Like the games feel paced differently now, at least in Control and stuff like that. But Control used to be like you said, run in a straight line, team shot. That was pretty much what Control was. Whoever did those two things better won in the majority of casual games. Now I'm noticing, like you said, I'm noticing a ton of primary duels. I'm using high impact pulse rifles and having an absolute blast. I haven't felt this good about a sandbox in terms of my own enjoyment since like that very small House of Wolves sandbox where like Red Death was really good and the Messenger was really good. It feels like a completely different pace of play for me, and I don't know that everybody will appreciate that, but to me it feels a little bit more deliberate, a little bit more cerebral, a little bit less push forward and move quickly as fast as I can, or team shot, which is what it was before. Now it feels like players, even Blueberries, who I didn't think were capable of it, are like picking their engagements a little bit better on my team and on the other team. You know, so I've really enjoyed the changing, and I think it's wholly attributed to Stasis's effects on, you know, making players think, hey, if I camp behind this corner and a dust field grenade lands right next to me, it's going to yank me out, and, you know, I'm going to get screwed. Or like, if I push this Warlock and he's got his melee charge, like, I'm going to be rooted to the ground and he's going to shatter me.
I'm glad you described it that way, because that's what I was going to say. Is I'm running into more primary duels, not all primary duels, but a lot more than before. And the reason isn't stasis in practice, it's the possibility of stasis that makes people primary. They don't want to get too close because they know they'll get frozen, so they try to primary.
It's like the carrot or the stick, and stasis is like the biggest, iciest stick ever. And people are now like Pavlovian response, like, I've run around the corner a lot and been frozen. I hate being frozen. I'm not going to run around the corner anymore.
And the other person also thinks that, so they're like, I guess we have to primary.
Yeah, it changes Crucible. I remember, you know, I was hoping before the update that this is how it would affect Crucible, and when it initially launched, I think that it definitely was too hot, and it was more like, let me fly in and like throw my Warlock thing at people and just freeze people or dump a cold snap. But now that those things have been addressed, I think it's affected Crucible in the way that I was hoping, where, like you guys said, people are, you know, thinking about their engagements a little bit more. They have to play around it, because as Cam said, the sheer presence of that ability in the game, and knowing that you can get so, you know, punished for making, you know, a reckless play, changes the way you have to play the game. You have to play around it, and a lot of the time that means you probably have to primary, and if you are going to dive, it needs to be a conscious decision at the right moment, and if it's not, you're going to get punished. And the other thing is, like, it reminds me, actually, I know we're all Halo, a little bit of a Halo players here from back in the day. You know, a big rule in Halo is don't chase. You know, you don't
So true.
chase, man. You're gonna get naded so easily. It's a free kill, and that rule is definitely, I think, in Destiny with these abilities now. When someone chases me, I put that wall grenade down and be like, "You're gonna learn today, man. Stop chasing, bro.
You're gonna learn today,
Just
baby."
shatter him down.
Yeah,
Break him
just
down,
shut
dude.
down.
Teaching
It's
a whole
really
new
funny.
generation of first-person shooter players that Halo mentality isn't entirely dead.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. You don't chase, man.
Well, like even like snipers, they changed snipers, and we'll probably talk about that a little later on. But like, if I have a glacier grenade, I will literally lock the lane down that I'm trying to go to. Like, I'll just block them off and then move up and around. Or if I get close enough, I'll throw a cold snap on the wall. Or we just got Cloud Strike, that'll just end that entire area if there's a couple of them right there. So like, you know, grouping together in sniper lanes has changed too, I've noticed.
It's a big shake-up to the entire sandbox as we know it. So, I mean, love to hear from you at home. It's done a lot of interesting things, so hit us up on Twitter. But let's move on to new exotics. And for now, we could talk about, I guess, armor or weapons. There's not a ton of new exotic weapons, but there's some interesting new exotic armor in the game, both for PvP and PvE. Does anybody have one that they feel a certain way about, that they think has made a big splash?
Mask of Bascus is one of the overall best PvP exotics in the game for any class. I said it. Any class.
You care to elaborate there? Cool.
I will eventually.
You will.
You can just make a lot of big plays with it. I don't mind the cooldown. What's nice, what you need to remember about that is when you phase, it is literally never wasted, because there's going to be a timer on the screen, 10 seconds, that you can't even get ability energy. So Traveler's Chosen doesn't bypass it. The Fragment, I forget what it's called, that once you kill frozen enemies to give you class ability energy, that does nothing bypasses it. You have to literally wait. So if you have a high mobility stat,
the Mask of Bakris gives you a short distance teleport, similar to Blink.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's about 10, 11 meters. It's a long way. Enough to where if someone's sliding in, you're out of shotgun range if you just go straight back. On controller, it's a little bit more linear. You can go any direction. With mouse, you can actually bend it a little bit. You can almost you can get behind people. You can't phase through people, but with a mouse, you can get behind them. But with it, what's cool is when you use that dodge, it's for a purpose, whether to get away or be aggressive. If you die, that's all right, because once you spawn up, the cooldown's gone. You're gonna get it for the next engagement because it's back in 10 seconds. But I have sniped hammer titans as they're throwing a hammer, snipe them in the face, literally phase out, and the hammer just misses me. I've had striker titans smash above me, phase out, get away from that. Like, the survivability is insane on it, and they're like what I believe. It's either a bug, but there's a hidden perk on it, and I'm gonna talk about it soon, dude. And I guarantee you're gonna play it entirely differently.
We're plugging that
so cool,
future cool guy
so
YouTube
cool,
video.
man.
You definitely are going to want to check out his review of that exotic helmet if you're a hunter player.
Yeah.
Cammy, anything leaping out at you gear-wise for Titan shenanigans, either in PvP or PvE?
The Revive helmet didn't seem very good from short testing. And the Overshield gauntlets are pretty neat, but I'm not finding them all too effective.
Yeah,
and those are ones that I was a little worried about, so I'm glad to see that they have a big trade-off.
I was worried about that too. The fact that they hinder one of our favorite things, which is movement, is sort of like, it's a very big trade-off. I'm sure you could make it work in certain situations, but it wasn't as crazy as we thought it would be.
Yeah, if it tanked adaptive snipe headshots, it would be a different ball game, but unfortunately it doesn't.
Yeah.
Or fortunately, I guess, depending on how you look at it.
Depending on how you think about it.
I was already prepared with Chaperone and Malfeasance and all that fun stuff, Bastion, ready to counter it, but it turns out if it costs you your movement, not a lot of people want to run it.
Yeah. I was happily surprised with the Necrotic Grip, mainly for PvE.
S tier.
It's
mention that
really
Thorn
fun.
synergy and like that moving forward.
Yeah. What a pairing. I think that was really cool. Did any of you have people telling you, like, no, man, it's definitely not a feature, it's a bug, it's got to be a bug? I was like, nah, they had to have made that intentional, the Thorn Necrotic Grip link, right? Because, like, I think it would be silly to not do that intentionally, and it's so cool.
To give some background on that, similar to how, like, Sturm and Drang is a partner pairing, they finally made an exotic weapon and exotic armor piece have a special synergy together. Correct. And that is Thorn and Necrotic Grip, which gives Thorn a Firefly effect.
Yeah, normally on its own, the Necrotic Grip, you just melee and you can chain a poison effect to multiple people. But then if you equip the Thorn, you can spread that poison effect with mini Thorn explosions at a distance. And it's just a phenomenally fun pairing. I never thought I would find myself in PvE with Thorn being like, this is great. Like, just infecting, like,
I think they're onto something. That is like a balancing scheme moving forward with some of these forgotten exotics.
Sure.
Both weapons and armor. Like, they could even go back and turn, like, ACD feedback fence into something crazy with Risk Owner. I don't know.
There's a lot of future interesting combinations where you take a exotic weapon that maybe, I mean, not that Thorn is a ignored exotic weapon by any stretch of the imagination.
Enhance.
Right, just take one and be like, oh, let's make it even sexier on paper. You pair it with that armor and something really cool happens. I thought that was really awesome.
Apotheosis Veil and Lumina. You know, you get your Lumina stacks, you activate super, and out of your super, just orbs fly everywhere at your teammates.
I love it. I love it. So we covered the Hunter exotic. Any more Hunter exotics that are leaping out at me? What do we got on the table here?
I haven't used the throwing knife. I have heard that the second bounce is very comical with how much aim assist it has.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the Titan Sentinel shield, man. It GPS tracks.
I think I watched. Was that a Drew video on the knife bouncing? Or am I?
Yeah, I
might
tested
have been.
it.
Yeah.
Is it nutty?
It's pretty crazy. So, I mean, first and foremost, yeah, I've been running Massacre Backwards as well, which is all amazing for the reasons we mentioned. I was very impressed though by those knife gauntlets. I was not expecting them to be as good as they were. They definitely give a lot of power to Bottom Tree Golden Gun. I definitely think that it can hang with that exotic, simply because your knife becomes so much stronger. The second bounce is like, it has insane levels of aim assist with the exotic, and I think maybe the first initial throw does too. I was going for some ambitious throws, and it felt almost like the pre-nerf knives. So I was like,
really? Wow.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. We all remember like how nuts that was, and there were so many times where like I remember on Endless Veil, my first match with it, I'm like, I'm just gonna dump this knife into the cubby, see what happens, and I got a kill, and I was like, well, this is going to set the tone for the rest of my usage with this exotic. It just literally just chuck them, throw them like a Sentinel shield, and like it'll find the target.
Like, yeah, it has that level of tracking, right? Like a Hunter Shuriken from the Stasis, where it kind of like will go towards the nearest dude.
It's nuts. What I was also surprised with was the duration of the buff it gives the knife. I think, what did I say? It was like 10 seconds. Something really long, and it extends every time. I believe you get a headshot, like hit. I think that's what I said. Headshot hit extends the duration. And the damage boost is considerable. It lets you one body with the knife, which is insane. And when you have that much time to work with, it's very possible to take advantage of. On top of the fact that actually synergizes with your skill tree already. You know, you want to hit headshots to get the practice makes perfect, I believe, to get the super energy, to get your weapon stability if you happen to get the kills. That's just another thing that, you know, rewards you for just playing the game, good shooting, with more damage and more potential. So I think it's really cool. It's such a natural pairing. I feel like, why would you play the class without it?
Yeah, that's a really good call. I love the idea of like a full send knife build where it's like encouraging players to just to like play normal, but also like, yeah, you know what? I'll throw that knife in there. Yeah, just eat.
They want those Call of Duty kill cam knives. Right?
Yes. Oh my god, dude! Literally, did y'all play Modern Warfare 2?
Of course.
Come on.
Yeah, dude. When you get to like 1 or 2 kills left in the match, you're
Graphica
like, you literally switch. I had a final kill build that like when you got to like the last 5% of a match, you would change class to the final, and you had like the 6-shot revolver and like the throwing knife, and you're just yeeting these knives up in the air because you're just begging for that final kill for the instant replay. Yeah, it's pretty much that, the exotic. I like it. Any other new exotic? There's not a what's up?
I want to bring this up. I think it's really worth discussing.
Okay.
And I don't want it to go unnoticed, man. As far as Destiny as a franchise moving forward, where we are now, first of all, it's some of the best story we've had in game with this campaign. There's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of things to follow. Secondly, one of the big things about Destiny is, you know, respecting a player's time. Like these lost sectors to go in to get these new exotics, fantastic, dude.
Good call. Really good call.
Like, and I don't want it to go unnoticed. Like the Cloud Strike being tied to going in and farming that over and over reminds me of Grasp of Malak, dude. Like, it's some of the best changes to Destiny, and like it's kind of flying under the radar, dude. I love it. I love it. I want Destiny to be like this, and of course have the drops, right? The super wow excited drops, but it's been awesome.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I gotta say as well, like I'm so insanely appreciative of it, because this time around I really feel like, as a player who dedicates a lot of time, obviously, as we all do, to the game, leveling and being efficient, I felt like I felt like really well rewarded. Like, hey, I leveled up my power level, and it's not just me doing it for a number, for some, you know, event that'll come in a week. It's like progressively through the game, I'm like, yeah, now I'm able to get this exotic deterministically. because I've played the game. I feel like I'm being rewarded for playing the game, which is a really good. I think that's a great feeling.
And to add to that, these lost sectors have a lot of opportunities to show mastery. Like I've been trimming them down on the speedrun side of things, like curating my loadout, using perks that I normally don't use, and farming other weapons just to make my farm faster. So I have it down to like when I throw my grenade to automatically reload my SMG. Like that's the kind of time saves we're talking about here. I'm trimming them under 3 minutes a piece.
That's the kind of stuff I love to see.
It's so much better to be able to say, okay, I got to do this activity. Sure, there's an element of RNG to it, but you know, as long as I focus and master this activity, you know, because I light leveled, because you know, there's a little bit of a skill aspect in achieving mastery in it. You know, you do that, and you know you're gonna get the exotic at some. And I think that formula has been great. Like even with the Cloud Strike Sniper, you know, I think that right now I haven't gotten it yet.
It took me 20 plus tries.
Oof.
But I was doing it with friends, and it was fun.
There you go.
Yeah, to me, it's just the fact that I know I'm gonna get it. Like I know if I keep doing this activity, I'm going to get it. Versus before, it's like, well, maybe if I play the game, something will drop.
Yeah, maybe.
Aeon Swift.
Yeah, man. Or I'll get Aeon Swift.
Enjoy.
You know, like it's such a welcome change. And then to tag onto that, it's like the changes with the raid loot. Being able to farm the raid, I know I'm like
being able to target the raid loot, like
targeted raid loot is huge.
Like, dude, like these are the best changes to gear acquisition in the ever.
They're very
These changes alone have made this one of my top expansions because it values my time.
Before I was like, my friends would be like, "Do you want to play the raid?" I'm like, nah.
It's like, yeah, dude, that's one phase.
Yeah, let's go it. Yeah, go for the one phase. Let me get those tokens. Maybe I'll get a better roll, and I can like get a curious. Like I can target the hand cannon I'm trying to go after. It's
sweet, dude.
Very,
it's such
very
good.
cool.
I just don't want it to go under because no one's like really talking about it, dude. It's fun to change it, dude. It just changed it, and
people are more vocal about the. People are more vocal about the negative stuff.
I know a few of us were against sunsetting. Like a few of us were pretty against sunsetting, but I gotta say, you know, gotta give credit where it's due. If these systems are a result, like, and Bungie's confident in bringing forward systems like this as a result of sunsetting, then I'm here for it.
Me too.
Because these are great systems, and I feel like my time's really being respected a lot more.
It's not even just like. There's so much depth to it. It's actually kind of impressive. They managed to do two things, which previously Destiny has always swung the pendulum hard one way or the other. Super casual, and anybody who's a grinder hates it. Super grindy, anybody who's a casual hates it. It's been really hard for them to strike a balance. What they've done with the deterministic loot is they've made it very, very accessible for someone who says, I just want it, right? I just want the exotic. I just want the gun. I just want the completion. I don't need to farm for the best one. Prior to that, like with Anarchy, if you were that person, you could still run that raid 60 times before you got it, which means that for a casual player, they just say, no, I'm not going to do that. Now, you don't run that risk. But simultaneously, at the same time, if you are the person who wants to run the raid 60 times, you can run the raid 60 times because you can target the loot and you can get the rolls. So it's like both people are like, I only want to run the raid once and I want to get what I want, or just, you know, a lost sector a handful of times, they can do that. But the people who want to do the lost sector like Cammy under 3 minutes because they want to grind out the perfect roll of that exotic head armor, they can do it too. Both parties are happy. Secondarily, like Drew mentioned, yeah, they sunset a ton of guns. I was as upset as anyone at the beginning when I looked at the number of weapons that they had brought in. But the depth of the loot that they've given us this season is second to none in a season of Destiny. The amount of perks that are in the pool, the amount of possibilities, the amount of new perks that they've added in that are actually pretty good perks that are changing things. I mean, when you look at the amount of guns that we have, raid guns, Europa guns, a few world guns, some exotics, like it doesn't seem like it's a lot. But when you start looking deeper at those guns, you start seeing what they're capable of, you're like, man, there's a lot of good rolls I could want at this gun.
That easy access. Like that's the biggest thing. I could spend 10 hours pre-sunsetting getting this or 1 hour in sunsetting. That's what I like about it.
We kind of complained in the beginning. All of a sudden there's a patch note. Oh, hey, okay. So we added the Ikelos weapons. We added, you know, so like they're listening, man.
Yeah, we're like,
they're getting rid of some of the FOMO elements, the fear of missing out, like the Fellwinters. I heard they're bringing that back. That's great.
Yeah. That is really good. Good to hear. Also, really good transition from Merc here, because I was just about to ask y'all how exactly you feel about the new weapons and some of the perks on those new weapons. because there's a good deal that we get to play with.
I got one. I wanted to bring it up during the exotic thing, but we were talking about the armor. No Time to Explain is perhaps one of my favorite primaries.
That is a really fun weapon.
I absolutely love. Yeah, I absolutely love No Time to Explain. It has the impact of a high impact, but the stats of like an adaptive, which are the easiest to use. Pulse rifles, super stable, incredibly good range, really sticky. Not to mention when you get your little, time warp buddy up,
gun buddy,
he's doing a ton of damage over on the side. I can't count the number of times where it feels like I like one burst someone. Obviously I didn't one burst them, but it feels like I do because I'm killing so fast because that thing's up. Right. And the range on it too is incredible. I absolutely love No Time to Explain. So much so that I'm like, let's grind out this freaking catalyst, man. Let's make this time warp buddy do all the damage he can do. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's a really fantastic weapon. It feels very, very clean. And I'm liking the hard-hitting pulse rifles now. Y'all been using the Stars and Shadow?
Yes.
No business being as good as it is, dude.
That's such
There's
a
no
good
business.
gun.
Bro,
so
the
good.
damage bonus after you freeze someone with that gun, and I also have one with kill clip. Yeah, combined with the two, I was doing, Jesus, I don't know, it felt like it was like 50 a headshot when I was hitting people with it. And it's just shredding people. Like, it almost feels unfair, because then you can stack charge with light, and it's just like,
It's
but,
very strong.
Oh, that's a huge thing. They changed the amount of points costing on armor stats, right? They changed the recovery mod from 4 for 10 or 2 for 5.
That was a great change, because aren't you, like, doesn't it drive you crazy where, like, you want to get to the next tier of whatever stat you're trying to, strengthen, and you're like, I just need 3. Like, I don't want to put a whole, you know what I mean? And now you can just do like a little halvesy on your recovery.
Zero cost for 1 point, because that will be the bane of my existence forever and always. When no matter what I do, it's like, because it used to be like you'd be at 59 and it's like, well, the only thing I can do is give myself plus 10, and now I'm at 69, which is just as infuriating. So it's like, let me equip one that's just 1 point. Just give me up that 1 point.
0 for 1 sounds pretty fair, because it opens up a lot of charge with light builds where you intentionally drop down a tier to get a better charge with light synergy.
Yeah, that was a great change. I'm feeling much more clean with my armor mod picks right now. I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but
it buffed 2 of my characters, but made my hunter worse with the traction change. Because the traction no longer gets the +5.
Yeah.
Something cool about No Time to Explain. I don't know. I'm just kind of a nerd, but the perk at 10 stacks of Rewind Again, a small portal's going to open, shooting bullets from an alternate timeline version of this weapon. Have you heard the sound cue of that little orb?
I haven't
it's the same sound of No Time, or the Stranger's Rifle from D1.
That's great.
That is so
I thought you were going to make a Back to the Future reference or something.
No, well, I don't know if it's ever been talked about. That's
really
the first thing I thought about. I'm like, well, maybe I'm just... But, like, I read the perk, an alternate version or an alternate timeline version of this weapon. It is the Stranger's Rifle.
Yeah.
So that weird Stranger's Rifle, because it had its own unique sound. That's
awesome.
the sound that little turret makes.
Dude,
so I thought that
attention to detail is like what I love about
that's
this
very
game. Like,
cool.
that,
I was going to say that too.
Cool
very
guy. You
cool.
just like
I know, dude. You're gonna go
blown.
You're gonna go play with it. Listen to the sound, right?
Timelines are clashing.
8th headshot, 9th headshot. You finally hit the 10th, and you just hear,
so
"We've
cool.
stepped into a war with the company."
That's all it does.
By the way,
it just narrates it.
Yeah, the audio cue plays. Cool guy. Introducing, you're a nerd. Come on, where do you think you are right now, buddy?
Man.
What kind of show are we running here?
I originally thought that high impacts were gonna kind of run the show, but hand cannons got a good. Hand cannons are where they need to be, right? All of them. The 120s cracking out at 40+ meters are really fun to use. The 35 meter is just perfect for the regular 140s. Those are playing well. High impact pulses are playing well. Even auto rifle, like people are still using Gnawing Hungers and getting me with them. I mean, they're not as potent as they were, but they still have that ease of use. If I miss a shot, they're gonna kill me, right? Like the sandbox feels pretty good to me.
Give me a hell yeah if you've been rolling with the True Prophecy hand cannon.
Rampage, dude.
Hell yeah.
I think they're a meta option. Like you're seeing top players choosing the 120s over even the 140s, and even things like Sunshot, which is still 150, and that's
true. Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Like, I didn't actually think the 120s were going to be a popular meta option, but people are electing to run them even over the other two, which is pretty great.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm liking the 120s more out of all of them, but unfortunately the raid came out with a really good aggressive frame snipe, so I can't run it anymore.
Recombination and Reconstruction are some of the best perks in the game, man. Reconstruction's insane.
All right, raise your hand if you've completed the raid the maximum number of times you can, and you still have not gotten the sniper rifle.
You know, you can try and get it to drop with one of the packages at the end.
Yeah, but they're bugged right now.
They're bugged, right?
Yeah, so I'm saving it for when it's not bugged. I was like, I'll save my tokens. Surely I'll get. Yeah, I was like, surely I'll get a sniper rifle this run. Nope. Here's your 18th shotgun Fallout. Enjoy it.
I think on the topic of new weapons, you should elaborate on your thoughts on the new sniper.
Okay. First of all, it's an aggressive frame, which is the missing piece to all of my builds, because my builds are about punishing people who do not wear 5 resilience or more. And believe me, most of the Crucible doesn't for some reason. So I'm hitting body shots left and right. My comment section doesn't understand this. They'll be like, wow, I can't believe you're using an empowering rift and going for body shots. I'm like, well, is it working or not? What's wrong? They're like, you keep missing shots. I'm like, that's called pre-firing. I'm not gonna stick around.
I love it.
But yeah, the snipers, at least on mouse and keyboard, don't feel like the supposed nerf to the zoom aim assist or whatever has done anything.
Controller.
Yeah, I've noticed controller, but not mouse and keyboard. I still have players that will, even half of hand cannon range, still dome me when I'm hitting 70s. I'll be too into it.
Yeah.
Dude, even with the 120s, hitting 90 apiece to the head, I'm still getting domed through that. And while I'm getting more primary fights overall because of stasis, it's still any sniper, any skill caliber that puts me out of my streak because I happen to flinch them onto my head. That's still the streak ender.
No.
I was going to say, from a console perspective, it's made a pretty big difference. Maybe it's because it's exclusively controller players, obviously. And
oh, that makes a lot of sense, though.
Yeah, but it's made a huge difference on console. It went from, what felt like 40% of my kills were me getting sniped ridiculous ways to now I see maybe 2 snipers a game. It feels like snipers are where they should be at, where players who are good at sniping are still good at sniping. But it used to be that kind of how the Warlock class felt when it came out. You could be a fucking potato and murk me with the Warlock subclass, and there's really not a ton I can do about it if you launch that melee,
Correct.
It just hits me, right? And it used to feel that way with Revoker and Beloved. You're a .90 and you've domed me 6 times in a row, wildly missing me every single time. This isn't fair. I don't see that anymore. I don't see bad players crushing me with a sniper in the middle of a battle that I was like, there's no way they should hit that, at least on console. I still see good players getting me sometimes, but at the same time, that's the player who's topping the leaderboard with 40 opponents defeated at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Right? So it makes sense that they would be.
That's definitely a good thing in my book. I mean, changing the degree of the weapon to the point where it's, less forgiving and less generous, but you can still rock house with it if you're totally cracked with snipers. Yeah, I mean,
so long story short is primary balance right now feels pretty good. I was worried about 150s going to 140s, being able to stop special weapons, and I'm sad to report I was a little right in that regard. It's harder to put down a shotgun, it's harder to put down a snipe, but I genuinely feel that just touching the special weapons ever so slightly would leave us in a really good overall meta.
Yeah, and even still where we are right now, I feel pretty good. Overall, do y'all feel pretty... How do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10 about the current feel of the weapon balance in PvP?
It's excellent.
I'm feeling pretty high up there.
I'd say 9.
Yeah.
I think
8 or 9,
if you look at it in a vacuum, just weapon balance wise, I don't know that we've had better balance than this. Actual balance. Maybe someone would argue more fun, but in terms of actual balance, pulse rifles feel good, hand cannons feel good, some auto rifles feel good, scout rifles.
A scout aim assist buff feels pretty good, dude.
They feel good. There's still some things that I would like to see tweaked on scouts. Like I'd like to see the body shot damage brought up just a teeny tiny bit, because their body shot TTKs are just like, they're from almost early vanilla D2 status. They've like never been touched, which is weird to me. But yeah, even like I was using a scout the other day, and it does, like the aim assist buff is noticeable, and you definitely feel it. So I think weapon-wise, snipers on console aren't overpowered. Shotguns have had their range brought in. Fusion rifles outside of Bastion aren't tremendously good. The new Coriolis Force disappointed me immensely.
Yeah. It's
unfortunately.
I think it's it's a PvE weapon for sure.
Oh, since the last time I talked to you, I don't know, man. I awoke something inside me, man. Unleashed the anime powers, but like I'm feeling good with Bastion. I'm hitting the crazy shots finally. I'm hitting the enhanced slide into a room and hit people on opposite sides of me with the one burst.
Dude,
it's sick.
Merc, you know how we've been touched by the darkness? You've
touched
Cammy with your darkness, Merc.
I was preparing for Beyond Light early by using Bastion. I was ready for the darkness. When it came, I was like, let's do it now. I'm not even gonna
I've had the darkness in me for months by now.
I'm ready. I'm ready to do some guardians.
It's one of my top picks in the Stasis land. Bastion's so good.
It's very good. I want to talk to Drew about one new weapon in particular. It's a gun called Posterity, and I want to know how Drew feels about it. It's a 180 hand cannon.
Not Forgotten is back. I mean, Posterity. I love that gun. I had zero expectations for it, and holy God, do I love it. It's like I've just been rocking it ever since I got it. I farmed the raid, an insane amount. I think I did, 30 engagements so far? 35, I don't know.
Good for you.
To get the roll that I got on it. I'm in love with it. And the funniest thing, so why I make the joke about Not Forgotten, is that it actually has, I'm pretty certain, Not Forgotten stats, or like nearly exactly the same, like almost copy and pasted, like onto that weapon. Like when I compare my weapons and even look at the aim assist stat, it's literally the same. I'm pretty sure with full bore on that, it would actually probably coincide perfectly or nearly perfectly with Not Forgotten stats, which is effectively making it pretty much the Not Forgotten or Luna's Howl, Sans, Mag Howl, before the nerf. And if you liked how that weapon felt, which it feels amazing still, it's great. And with the combination of Killing Wind and Rampage, wow, is it amazing. It's so good, I find, because Killing Wind and Rampage with the Rampage spec actually lasts the same duration of about 4 seconds. And so when you get a kill, you're not just getting the increased mobility, movement speed, handling, all the rest, but you're getting both increased range and increased damage at the same time. And that lets you 3-tap low resilience levels as well, like mid-low resilience levels, which is very, very good. It's really fun. It feels really responsive. I'm absolutely in love with it. It's great. It's really good. It feels so consistent.
Yeah, man. I've been hunting for that role too. I have one with Rampage, which feels really good, but I am hunting for the exact role that you have, the Killing Wind Rampage combo. Very, very fun weapon. Although, it's just a weird personal nitpick with me. First of all, I want to put it out there that the visual flare design on the raid weapons is probably within my top 3 of like, this is the most badass looking weapon I've ever seen in my life. It is cool as hell. For whatever reason, when I'm using the hand cannon, the Posterity, and I'm ADSing, the scope, like the green, it's a little much. I'm like hoping that even though it looks crazy cool.
Oh, you're talking about the lens?
The green lens when you're
when you get in low, it gets super red. I mean, that's good when you have certain perks.
Yeah.
But it goes green to red, and that red's really. I wish it was a little bit lighter. It's dark.
I'm begging for a red dot on that hand cannon. I feel like if I had that, I would use it more than I do right now. But for whatever reason, it doesn't bother me on what is the name of the new shotgun? That shotgun?
The Heritage.
The Heritage, yeah. Doesn't bother me on the Heritage, but for whatever reason, it's kind of throwing me off a little bit on the hand cannon. But how do y'all feel about the Heritage while we're on it? That new raid slug shotgun. Very good gun. Yeah.
Dude, if you look into it, it can get near max handling. It doesn't roll a quick draw, but it doesn't need to.
It has a very high handling stat. Yep. And a lot of really interesting rolls. You got what? Slide shot. You've got the new recombination.
You can do slide, killing wind. You can do slide,
what's that?
snap.
You
Dual
got,
loader. All right, so
you
dual
got
loader,
thresh. Go on with dual loader.
Dual loader. So it does -50 to the stat, but it's like the Iron Banner perks. It never zeroes it out. Its base reload is 50, so it's not going to zero it out. It actually puts it to 10. The base reload versus dual loader actually loads in all 6 shells faster than the base reload. So the base reload will actually one at a time. When it has 4 in, the dual loader is like going slower, but it has its 6 then. So don't be afraid of dual loader. Pretty sweet.
Don't fear it. Yeah. I have one with slide shot thresh, and it do be feeling quite good though. Very reliable. Again, looks cool as hell. I just love doming people with it. That new scout rifle though, what is it? Trustee. Not my favorite.
I like it.
Not my favorite.
I heard, I haven't tested this yet. Apparently it can 4-tap with high impact reserves. I do have a roll with high impact reserves.
Interesting.
And I'd like to test it, but that sounds disgusting.
That does sound disgusting.
Did you guys get Commemoration, the machine gun?
No, I want Hammerhead too, though.
Second raid gun that I don't have. I have every other raid gun.
I got Zen and Dragonfly. It's pretty fun. I mean,
Well, that's an interesting
it's not a world
combo.
beater, but man, it's fun.
I got Dynamic Sway, Eye of the Storm.
There you go.
All right,
you're good to go.
All right, that's
I
not
mean,
bad.
it's an adaptive, right?
Yes, that's why I said the Hammerhead too.
Yeah.
Yep. I on the topic of the heritage, yeah, I think Cool Guy mentioned slide shot, killing wind. Dude, that combo, I have it. And
Is it pretty sweet?
It feels like a legendary chaperone, man. It's like you get a kill, you start going fast, get a little bit more range. It's wild.
And you keep going. And it also rolls snap and moving target. Killing wind essentially gives you those 2 perks. You know, so I would just go with killing wind.
I'll mention it here in case someone out there feels crazy, but I was using Heritage. I was popping people for about 130 to 160 in the head, and they were just dropping dead from that one shot. No assist, no nothing. So put on the spin foil hats. Something spooky is going on with it.
It could just be damage. So.
Very true, but it's happening consistent.
X-Files music.
Yeah, X-Files music.
We need you to sing it so we don't get copyright struck.
I don't have the sword, but with Falling Guillotine out there and this new sword, I'm not sure it's going to get that much play.
Yeah, I was really
so.
excited. I have about 5 of that new sword. It's called the Bequest. It's pretty interesting. I like the design. I think it's very cool. And then I picked up the Lament exotic, which is comically absurd in the damage output department. Got a video on that coming out soon. By the time you're hearing this on Podbean or wherever the hell you listen to the podcast, go check that out because it's really good sword.
Have we found any good uses for Salvation's Grip? The stasis
Sure has.
Salvation's Grip.
I use it.
Do you use it just to Shadow Strike?
Partially. I love it.
Go
It's
on.
so much fun. I like it for all the reasons I like the nades. You know, the whole skill gap it gives you. It's just you have that on hand, right? Like it allows you to block cover or like block doorways, create cover, create platforms, create something for me to shatter dive, which is so strong. It still activates everything on your fragments, I believe. So it counts, like it still counts as like shattering your like ice wall grenade, which is really cool. So you get that on hand beam ability with it, and you still get to utilize all of your abilities with it as well. So I'm really enjoying it. I also like, you know, obviously you can freeze people with it, but that's like, I don't know, the freezing people is not like usually my main goal. It's just to try and shadow dive them. So yeah.
Got
Yeah,
it.
it gives you ability energy back for breaking your own crystal. It's pretty cool.
What other guns? Because there's definitely more that are out there that you're feeling kind of good about.
Do we want to talk about the Varex weapons?
Yeah, sure.
Friction Fire, Antiope 2.0.
Yeah, friction fire. I
A
forgot
high
about
albedo. The sidearm.
The sidearm? Yeah.
I got that today. That's
It's a
really,
three-burst,
really
man.
fun. Yeah, it's really
Omalon adaptive,
enjoyable.
but not Omalon for the first time, which is great because the Last Dance and the Last Hope are two of my favorite sidearms of all time. Absolutely love those things. With the right combinations, you can two-burst with them pretty easily.
I just got the Swashbuckler Bow, and the Swashbuckler Bow can one-tap in PvP.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna try that on Top
Save
Dawn
me.
or something.
Pretty sure, that's what I heard, because it is. I mean, it's a 76 impact.
Yeah, it makes sense. It adds up.
The biting wind bow.
I got moving target swash, and another one I have is rapid hit unrelenting.
So you're telling me you combine that biting wind bow with swash, and all you need is a melee kill to activate it, and you put on that absurd exotic Drew was talking about earlier with the double bounce homing knife, and then you're made in the shade, bro.
Yep.
Who needs a
That's the way to
gun
do
when
it.
you have a bow and a knife?
Can we talk about fragments real quick?
Yeah.
Like, Hedrons is one of my favorite things in the game, man. Like, I almost think that it's
good.
gonna get touched at some point. 25% more damage in PvE, in PvP, super strong. I mean, the whole subs are, you know, it's either gonna. I mean, the loop is either freezing or slowing. You know, once you get freezing, you get a damage boost for 10 seconds, and it turns the Monarch bow into a one-shot bow kill in the Crucible. It turns it into a two-tap for the 120s. It will one-shot body shot with a high-impact sniper with Borealis. Use Borealis because it's awesome. Very, very strong with how frequent you can get it, with how easily you can get it per game. My favorite fragment by far.
Yeah, I do want to shout out the friction fire though when Drew's done.
Oh yeah, do that now.
Do it,
'cause I
yeah,
think
do
we're
it.
Kind of like.
Yeah, we're
segueing
back to
into-
that
Yeah, we're
point.
bouncing
Yeah.
between all the weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So friction fire is the precision frame submachine gun. Has pretty decent range. It's not as far as the original Antiope and that sort of thing, but it does have PvE utility, which is what I want to mention because I rarely do that on here. That's one of those weapons that I specifically farm to shred a lost sector. It's because it has both field prep and sympathetic arsenal. And on your gauntlets, you can run anti-barrier submachine gun so you can handle champions. And so I have that lost sector routed out to where by the time my sniper rifle empties and my Deathbringer rocket launcher empties, as I'm just waiting around idly, I kill one ad, reload with that SMG, and I'm back in business to keep pushing forward. And it literally saves so much time just on that one roll alone.
That's really
You-
interesting.
you
I
can
wouldn't
utilize
have thought of
the
that
field
unique
prep.
role.
Like tip
Yep.
too, right?
Yeah, where you tap the crouch into the reload.
So a lot of weapons have tells, right? So the friction, what it is, it's a very open, clean sight on that SMG. When you get low ammo, it slowly turns red. I mean, the raid weapons do it. So any weapon with field prep, you know, when you crouch, you basically get outlaw. It's a very fast reload. So, you know, you can just keep spraying and spraying, and literally once you start seeing it turn red, just start crouching. You'll get the fast reload, stand up, and keep going. So, like, you know, you don't really have to ever judge it because you know it's coming because it happens within the last 6 or 7 bullets. So as soon as you see the lens turn red, that means it's low ammo. You start crouching, let it reload, and get back up.
Yeah,
pretty
for those
sweet.
who don't know, Deathbringer is that void rocket launcher from the moon that you shoot it up in the sky and then it breaks out into smaller axion bolts that track all the enemies. And it is amazing for Lost Sector. You shoot it above spawns before they actually spawn in. And then you do all the work with the sniper.
Oh,
and
that's
when
a
you need to
good
reload,
idea.
don't reload the rocket, don't reload the snipe, just shoot one out with an SMG.
Oh, Cammy, that's brilliant. I love interesting builds and thought process like that. That's very brilliant. I would not have thought of using that rocket launcher for a lost sector.
Yeah, I'll put out the guide when I have it routed and consistent, but right now I'm just so impressed that I saw that as a perk combo and I said I'm gonna go hunt this down and got it within 30 minutes. And now I get to use it the rest of the season. It's great.
How do we feel about the Hailing Confusion pulse rifle?
That's the one that you get from the story mode for free.
That's the Varex one, yeah.
I mean,
I don't have a good roll, but I like it.
no
I
buy
have-
guns, if that's what you're
It's not
that's what you're asking.
it's not a no time to explain, but it is enjoyable though.
Yeah, I mean,
Pulse-wise, though, like no time. The stars, dude, like that. The
Yeah.
stars in Shadow And it has like, if you
Stars and
notice,
Shadows,
it
very
has
good.
like 10 perks in each node. You can get outlaw kill.
It has a
clip,
lot.
but I have Killing Wind, moving target. It's insane. It is insane.
That's a really good roll combo.
That sounds insane.
And they drop very frequently. I was playing PvP just to have fun, and like they were just handing them out like candy. I think I was using Stars and Shadow with Thresh and the I forgot it, the Heritage shotgun, both with Thresh, specifically for a build combo where I'm trying to farm super really quickly.
That sounds
incredibly. It really was.
Have you tested out Thresh any to talk about it?
It's on my list of. I'm doing an in-depth dive on each new weapon.
So I'll ask
perk.
next week.
Yeah, hit me up next time. Oh, we forgot to talk about the Adored.
Yes, we have.
Oh.
Please, Cammy, hit me with your thoughts on
My
that.
2 cents on that is that if this is sunsetting, right? If we're trying to crawl away from Beloved's power and just ever so slightly take a step down, I think they nailed it with Adored.
Yep, they did. 100%.
A little boom, and then not both high handling and snapshot, just snapshot.
But worth mentioning as well, though, to get back to that level, if you want that high handling, if you want that, more range, Killing Wind is such a good way. Like, I love that they're giving.
You gotta earn your kill
through perks, because that means you want your weapon to feel like that. You want it to be like Crazy Town again. You gotta kill first, right? And it's not a damage boost. It's not just something. I feel like damage boosts are very just bland. Like, we have so many of them at this point. It's just like and it kind of feels like sometimes with weapons it's just like, oh, just throw a kill clip on it, But now that we're getting like stat boosts and like interesting things like that, and movement speed boosts, for kills, like, I think that's dope. I think that's such a great way of like kind of balancing the weapon.
I think a few days of Adored coming out, I put 400 kills on it because I was like, there's no way sniping is this easy. I can't be the only one. And by the time I checked, it was 400 kills. But after seeing the raid succession sniper drop, I feel like any other sniper I use, I'm just cheating on it. It's too good.
I cannot wait to get
Cloud
that gun.
Strike's
It's
awesome.
driving me crazy that I don't have that raid sniper.
Cloud Strike, yes, that's that
Cloud Strike
exotic,
is
right? The
so
biggest
good.
firefly ever.
Yeah, dude. It's so like, I use Borealis like a lot when I snipe. So like Adored's good, but I run Borealis a lot. But as far as exotics, it's kind of like the jealous girlfriend meme, dude. I'm looking at Cloud Strike over here, man. I use it all today, and it's insane how many collaterals do you have. I have more collaterals with Cloud Strike than I've probably had in the past year of just regular sniping. Like,
Wow.
I'm getting it like almost one. I mean, at least one a game. If people are close together, it takes them down.
Yeah.
And it feels pretty good. And I don't mind the
was-
zoom factor. I think the zoom factor is fine.
I was going to mention that. I was saying it's a good thing that they
Is it
did put
heavy?
the zoom at 50, because if they had put the zoom at like 40 or 45,
Wait. You're telling me Cloud Strike is at 50 zoom?
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
50 zone.
All right, well, that's the
Yeah.
new snipe I'm using then, because it's the same as the succession.
Oh god.
There you go.
And it's a 140, holds 7 in the mag. Pretty sweet, dude. They've knocked
Yeah,
it
it
out of the
does
park
sound
with a
pretty
lot
good.
of these, dude. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun.
If
got
we
Hawk
don't,
Moon.
Hawkmoon when?
Still got that coming.
I know.
Yeah, we still got that coming.
Soon. Hashtag.
I wanted
soon.
We haven't talked about Duality.
Oh, I guess.
Oh yeah, Duality.
We can do that one in
That's an
15
interesting
seconds.
gun.
I think it's really
yeah.
cool in concept, but in using it in PvP, I'm not finding it all too useful.
No.
My establishment on that is that I think that gun has an incredible utility that kind of solves a big problem for slugs, which is like once you get into some of these engagements, like these kind of tight corridors, you kind of just fall apart. I'm someone that, like, I've talked about it before here. I hip fire my shotguns anyways, so I kind of just use that normally, and that works great with the Duality. The biggest problem I notice is that, as much as it's solving that problem, it introduces this colossal new problem of not having Icarus. You don't have inner accuracy. So
Yeah.
I'm typically, even though you can put on double shotgun targeting, which makes it a little bit better, a little bit more accurate, that penalty is just so...
That's where I'm at with it too. They give it
That's
Icarus,
where
it's in my
It's like-
inventory.
I've solved one problem, but I've introduced a bigger problem by using this thing. So.
It's
Maybe
cool with
one day
damage
they'll
boosters
add-
though. With the Emp Rift, you can use the slug portion to body shot people with the slug, which is kind of cool.
That is funny.
I really
And then you
wanted to,
enhance the damage with the pellet spread.
if we were, I really wanted to go back on the topic of fragments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Go for it.
So, I was gonna say, like, Cool Guy finished talking about his favorite with Hedrons. My favorite right now is the increased radius of damage for the shatter effect. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
You're sick, Drew.
It's so funny. It's, you know, it adds about a meter and a half more damage radius to the shatter of crystals, and boy, does that make Shatter Dive just absolutely insane. I love it, but more so, it's even funnier when people shatter your crystals and kill themselves because because the radius is so big. They're trying to get their abilities back and everything.
That's
it's
really
like,
funny.
I'll
just break this ice crystal.
I killed one of my teammates the other day because someone used an ice wall grenade or something and blocked off something, and my teammate was sitting on the other side of the door waiting, and I just started shooting the crystals so I could shoot through it. And I didn't even think about it, and I saw him take damage to the shield break, and then I was like, I remember like thinking like, huh, that's weird. What's doing damage to him? And then I cracked the third crystal and killed him, and I was like, oh, it's me.
Very
yeah,
funny.
it's even great using it as like a grenade, or like an actual grenade or detonation. It's like you put it down, you block a doorway, see them going through it. I mean, the grenade's an easy, or the wall is an easier target, so shoot that, do a bunch of damage to them, or kill them. I'm really loving it. But something that I really want to talk about with everyone is everyone's thoughts on the fact that the fragment slots. A lot of people are coming to me and saying that, oh, like hunters only get 2, or, you know, the Titans get 3 and warlocks get 4. My quick thoughts on that was that I'm actually like incredibly happy to see that, because when I made a guide on how to play this the Stasis Hunter, and when I was making that, I was like going through all the different types of builds you could want. The Hunter is a unique class that does both this, like the way I look at it, the Titan does the best shatter. Overall, it's most focused around that. The Warlock does the best freezing, or I guess crowd control, like freezing, and the Hunter does this like odd in between of like, hey, I'm kind of good at shatter sometimes, and I'm kind of good at slowing and freezing. If you know, it takes a little bit more work than Warlock. I'm kind of decent at both, not great at both. But with the Hunter, with the right fragments, you can go like full in to make it like incredible with shatter, like I have. Or, like,
yeah, I understand. You're saying Hunter has branching paths, and the other 2 are kind of locked in.
Yeah, so when I was looking at that, I'm like, okay, there's now builds where we can look at like a shatter build, a slow or freeze build, or maybe like a little bit of both. But any more fragment slots other than 2 makes the decision-making process go out the window. It's like you can now do all
everything,
of it, and it will completely invalidate all of the other classes. Like you will have the Shatter Dive being a nuke, and you will have insane slow ability, and you'll be able to cycle it as well.
And get more damage.
Like, get more damage as well. It's like literally 0 decision-making in your build. So when I saw that it was only 2, I was like, this is awesome. Because it also adds into the second factor where, sorry to go on a rant here, but like,
go on it.
Hunters have the most movement of all these classes, and Shatter Dive is now another movement ability. So by that definition of movement being the most valuable, they also have the least fragment slots. And Titan, which is now getting a little bit more movement, but still maybe not as much as the Hunter, gets an additional one to help, you know, help their kit, and Warlock, who gets the least movement and debatably none, gets 4 fragment slots. And I thought that was cleverly designed. I like that. I don't know about you guys, but
I agree.
That's a good point, Drew. Yeah.
Bro, them Titans with, like, if they're in a barrier shield, it's a stasis Titan. You can't get close to them, dude, because they'll knee slide right behind that thing and take you out. like that, dude. Like, you can't even get close to that bubble or that shield.
Oh man, my choice has been the shoot through barricade for everything. Just dealing with those cracked M&K snipers. Just throw that down and kind of laugh and point at them.
We have to get to at least a few community questions. We have a hard stopping.
It's been a great
point
episode
tonight.
so far.
It's been really good.
Good catch up.
Here we go. There's a bunch of questions we've already answered inadvertently already. Here's a good one from Serotonin. What should you use for endgame activities like Nightfalls and raids if you don't have Anarchy, or Divinity, etc.? More of a PvE question.
Let me think about this from the new raid perspective in the lost sectors. Give me like 30 seconds on this. I'm
That's
looking
fine.
at my
I'll look for a
Destiny
new.
manager.
I'll look for a new question while you think. Personally, for Nightfalls, I think that the
I mean, we assume they're a Beyond Light player, right?
Wait, can't they just buy one of those from the door, the new vendor.
Oh yeah, the Anarchy. You can just pick that up, can't you?
Yeah, don't you have to turn in Ascendant shards and raid spoils to get it?
I think you do.
Yeah, so that's your goal, is to start working towards that first of
Yes.
all. Xenophage is still a good bread and butter option when you can't think of anything specific. The sword, believe it or not, the new one, the Lament, and also
yes,
Falling
good
Guillotine
answer.
are also both useful.
Good answer. I think I could go
I
into any
routed out
Nightfall.
Borealis in some of these lost sectors, and it worked out pretty well. And
Also
if you
good.
break shields in these rage encounters, Borealis damage is very, very good.
I'm a big fan of the Ariana's Vow in like literally any Nightfall. I think that's a fantastic weapon.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that in literally any activity.
So Xeno, Ariana's Vow, both like bread and butter choices for the whole game.
Yeah. Question from Hunter DG. What are the top 3 weapon archetypes you think will be meta for PvP this season?
Adaptive hand cannon, aggressive hand cannon, and high impact pulse rifle.
If I was betting, that's what I would pick.
Agreed.
That's a
Yeah,
good answer.
I'm there too.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, the second part of that question was interesting. What would you do to make 180s more viable without being oppressive?
We got
You
that
answered
question
this
3 or
earlier,
4
Drew.
times.
Put good
Yeah,
perks in the
on
perk
Twitter.
Oh, my bad.
When you put good perks,
190 RPM. I would make them 190.
You make them a little quicker.
Yeah. That's a 0.94 time to kill.
Interesting. And Merc,
And it
what you?
makes them a little bit more unique in my opinion. Sorry, I'm so late to this.
That's fair, dude. I love you. Just throw everything at me. That's what we're here for.
It would make it, I think, a little bit more unique. It's a niche, like unique. It's not like
Sure.
in the territory of 180 scouts anymore, but it's not quite like 200 scouts either. I feel like it gives them a little bit like of this cool middle ground that, you know, feels a little bit more viable. I'd like to see that.
I think another option would be just give them utility perks for free, aka give them Icarus for free, give them hyper unflinching for free, and just see what happens.
Also
Yeah,
want to point out that like the Adept range Astral is going to be a big deal. Like like there's some that like Scholar's going to struggle. Scholar's one of the better legendary 150s, but if you're going to use a 150, might as well be using Jade or Polaris anyway. A lot of them struggle, but like the fusion struggles, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Eye of Soul and Astral, both kinetic, looking for range. Sniper rifle, you're probably going to be looking for handling. But, I mean, you can... Well, I forget the system, but you can augment them to get, you know, a lot in the stats. So that's going to be a big one to me, and we're getting ready to start that this Friday.
I
By the
forgot
time you
about
listen to this,
Adept
you might-
Weapons. I
So
literally
sorry.
forgot about them. That's going to be interesting.
Really excited.
Here's a question from Garrett McCauley. What are y'all's favorite perks introduced, weapon perks, I'm assuming, in Beyond Light? If you could pick one.
Reconstruction.
Reconstruction.
Viability wise, I guess reconstruction. Personal
good
fun
one.
favorite, one for all.
Yeah.
That is a great perk. I'm
Because
going to go
I
with...
too enjoy anime.
I'm going to go...
I was gonna say
God damn it. I'm going to go
Like
with
we're-
Thresh. I'm going to go with Thresh.
and I like the idea of Thresh and Wellspring. I like the idea of getting kills to generate back your abilities on legendary weapons. I like that a lot. I hope they move forward with stuff like that.
Let's see.
I'm just happy there's an aggressive frame snipe. That's it. It could have no perks, and I'd still be like, this is great.
Gotta get that gun. I mean, I would ask this question, but we already know the answer. What is your guys' favorite new raid weapon?
I've already answered.
Cammy's talked about it like 80 times.
I got 4 shotguns, man, and a machine gun. So
Bro, I got like 12 of these heritages, man. They're making it rain on me right now. I can't take it. Knock it off already.
I got 0 armor.
I thought it was a pellet shotty at first. I was disappointed. I'm like, stop giving me outlaw.
Oh, which by the way, that falling guillotine, like I got one from the gunsmith today. So
Oh yeah, they've been dropping more.
yeah.
Finally, question from someone I don't think any of us have ever heard of before. Some dude named Briar Rabbit. Sounds like a made-up name. Do you think a Centaur's junk is on the human part or the horse part? It's a very important question.
The horse part.
It's got to be the horse part, right?
Gotta be.
Well, I've watched...
criminal otherwise.
What was the Disney movie? Was that like Fantasia or whatever? What was that? Whatever the old Disney movie with the... There was like a musical back in like the 90s. What is that? No, probably earlier in the 90s. I didn't see no Centaur dong front and center. It's got to be hidden away somewhere.
So the story behind these damn questions is that apparently DCP gets a much different breed of question asker than we do.
Dude, I was on
I see.
on DCP like a month ago. And no joke, this is not a meme. Half of the questions are like tech questions, like asking them about their setups and PCs and stuff like that. And the other questions are like, you have to shoot your grandma or like your favorite celebrity, or like, or the questions are insanely sexual. Like,
yeah, we get like science questions over here. They're like, tell us how the citric acid cycle affects the Achelos SMG.
We were talking about,
like, all right, dude, sit down. Let's go.
Something about a robot bang maid. That I can only remember that. Talking about robot bang maids.
So they were like, yeah, we'll swap questions. That'll be fun. Like when we do the double feature, Firing will get all the DCP questions. And like halfway through being on their show last week, I was like, I don't want to swap questions with you guys.
That is, we have to do that for the future. That would be hilarious.
We gotta answer them dead ass with like the sandbox related answers.
Yeah, let me get out my spreadsheet. Talk about Centaur junk. We have to wrap things up because if you're listening live on Twitch, please know we appreciate you. Because Thanksgiving is tomorrow, we are pushing both shows to today, Wednesday, the recording of the show. So we are going to go offline, and DCP is going to hop right on. Back-to-back double feature, baby. So we're hitting you with all the sandbox stuff. I'm sure they're going to talk about their experience in the raid, and, you know, the PS5, and sex robots. It's going to be great. So tune into them, and thank you for joining us. We're going to go around the table, give everyone a opportunity to let you know where you can find us when we're not online here. Cammy, tell the people at home where they can find you.
All right, I'll be in the lost sector. No, but youtube.com/CammyCakes Gaming, twitch.tv/CammyCakes, twitter.com/CammyCakesYT. Thank you.
Beautiful. Cool guy, tell him.
I'll be in the 1280 lost sectors.
Hey now.
It'll be Twitter and YouTube, Cool Guy Games. That's where you can find me.
Drew.
Twitter.com/Drewsky's channel, I think. I never quite know. YouTube.com/Drewsky's channel and Twitch.tv/Drewskys.
Merc?
I will be moving, so you won't find me anywhere other than under a series of increasingly heavy boxes, it seems. But you can find me on Reddit, Mercules904. You can find me on my other podcast, Destiny Massive Breakdowns, which is wherever you listen to your podcast, it's probably on there.
Good man. And by the way, congrats on the move and all that good stuff. We wish you the best, buddy.
Thank you. I hope that in the future the view behind me is a lot cooler than it has been. You know, this is no more Jaguars thing anymore. I got a poster up. I'm starting to get there, but hopefully in the future it'll be pretty cool.
Fair enough. I'm Fallout. You can find me youtube.com/Fallout Plays or twitch.tv/Fallout Plays. Once again, thank you very much for listening and joining us, and we will catch you next time on Firing Range. Take care.
Peace.
Boom. Audio done, but we're still live on Twitch. And again,
audio done.
We are not rating anyone. Thank you for joining us, Twitch chat. Y'all are homies. Did Watts write penis in the Twitch chat? Oh, she said we're late.
All right, we can entertain.
Beautiful.
Chill for a bit, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can chill and hang out. I'm good with that. DCP late? I've never heard of such a thing.
Ace of Spades or Thorn
in my life.
You can
Dude, I've been rocking Thorn.
All right.
I've been going.
Actually, I'm gonna conditional. I think
conditional.
Ace if you're shotgunning, Thorn if you're sniping.
All right, yeah. Holding on to Memento Mori.
Okay.
With the sniper, I hate it. You're right.
It just doesn't work, man. It just doesn't work. Whereas with a shotgun, because like you're forced to play a little bit of a distance in your primary more, it just works so well for Ace.
I've always said this was a class-based question too, like Titan, Hunter, or Warlock between Last Word Ace and Thorn.
I don't know what it is. I maybe because I've used Thorn far more, it just feels more reliable to me, and like I'm so. It's literally one of my favorite weapons in the entirety of the game from a user perspective, PvP lore perspective, visual, like the way it's just everything about it. I love Thorn like to death.
I have to check.
Merc, is that a picture of a Vex?
Yeah. I actually got that poster when I worked at Bungie. When they're like done with the season,
cool.
Or they're done with like the season stuff that's in the store, they bring all of it down like into the lobby, and they're just like, okay, whatever you guys want, you know, you can have. This is like leftover stuff from the store. We're not going to sell it anymore. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they don't always have stuff left over because obviously their shit's really popular. But
yeah,
you know, I was able to nab a couple of cool posters and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to actually decorate my office and make it look like a cool gaming space like all you guys have as opposed to.
I bet you're wearing those Starfire Protocol leggings right now.
Guilty. I'm actually wearing nothing at all beneath this stuff.
I would expect nothing less. Yeah. Literally.
I have 9,100 ace PvP kills.
You are a sick man.
It's like
I love you.
95% console too. Back when they were bad.
Dude, I'm actually like ahead of. I don't know. Are you guys like, for those of us who are full-time YouTubeage, do y'all like write down a schedule of like, I want to do this video by this day? And I try to do that
I write
too.
down ideas, and then I do ideas, and then I do urgency. Yep. And then like once I have like what I want to do, I'll start breaking that down. I'll segment that out, and it's kind of see how long that'll take. And sometimes like the urgency list will switch because of like Cloud Strike, right? Cloud Strike just came out. I'm using Cloud Strike. Like I'm doing backers right now. If I find something cool with Cloud Strike, it's gonna come up next. You know, because I'm kind of getting gameplay all at the same time. That's how I like to do it.
I'm ahead of schedule, and like I got a video ready for tomorrow, and you know, it's Thanksgiving. I'm gonna take it easy, but like, is anyone free to play PvP tonight? Because I feel like
right now I'm good.
I'm like in the mood to play.
Yeah, I can play. Yeah, and I can show you guys the thing with backers.
Yeah, we can talk about again, Twitch chat.
To answer your question though, Fallout, I try to take the approach as a player first. I just ask myself, what will make Destiny more fun for me to play right now? And that leads into the video and makes me want to play.
Good for you. That's a good way to look at it.
That's why I do the breakdowns too, is like, what weapons am I most interested in acquiring? Because I make those lists for myself first so that I can start grinding. But
yeah, true.
Then it's like, okay, well, this is the weapon that I'm most interested in, so I'm going to break this one down and I'm going to put it out. I'm going to have to start doing these like individually, like single weapon breakdowns, because I don't know where I'll ever have the time to do like a 7-hour thing again. But someone said it to me on Twitter the other day, like, why don't you just break down a single weapon and just put those out whenever you have a chance? I'm like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's going to be Coriolis is going to be the first one, so I can talk about how incredibly sad I am that it didn't, that it wasn't like a new, disgustingly dirty fusion rifle.
Right.
Because you know what No Time to Explain has done is it's forced me to put Bastion down, which is like, I didn't think it was going to be possible, but I can't use Bastion and No Time to Explain, so I need something else. So basically I'm just using No Time to Explain, and I'm not even using an energy at this point in time.
No.
I'm just like, whatever's there is there. I just
and that day, Merc lost a little piece of himself.
I'm straying back towards the light. I didn't think it'd be possible. Soon I'll be playing Gunslinger again. It's gonna be horrible.
That's crazy.
I mean, the Exo Stranger uses the dark, so I mean, not too far away.
Yeah, that's true. I just moved laterally.
You just.
I wish that.
I gotta say, you still blew my mind with that detail about the No Time to Explain.
Dude,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we
mind
can screen share or something. Somebody can pull it up.
What do you got?
It super sucks that they took away the testing area, man. I wish that Kindled Orchid didn't get sunset. I've been using Ancient Gospel and what is it? Nature of Beast, not Nation of Beast.
Nature of the Beast.
Nature
of the Beast. Yeah.
That one's I got a pretty sweet roll on that one. And what's crazy on it is you feel the range, because before they were so close. Ace and a lot of my other hand cannons hit so much further than it. But this one's got like a 95 stability stat. It feels super good.
Damn.
But that Kindled Orchid, man, it would really shine right now. The Rampage kill clip roll would really shine right now.
I used to use Quick Draw Explosive with the snipe, and it worked because it cleaned up any distance.
Yeah, it would be top 3 meta IMO with all the changes that happen to hand cannons.
Sick.
If you wanted to run Chaperone, if you wanted to run, you know what I'm saying?
It's like the one thing I feel like every time we sit down here and talk, right when we finish, I'm like, I really want to play right now.
Yeah, we can do it. You want to stack in some quick play? Go for the belt.
Sure.
Quick play championships 2020 Anaheim.
Fun.
I'm ready to
play
game.
championships. I'm ready, gamer. Yeah, let's get a few in there. Dude, I've been playing a bunch more M&K lately, and
This must
been
be
fun.
nice.
it is nice.
Bro, I
say
couldn't
you-
figure out how to shatter dive the other night. with
with
It's
M&K.
X, I think, default.
well, no, I took it off. It was literally nothing on my keyboard.
It was
I was like-
nothing.
It's like, well, maybe I go into my keybinds because I was playing with Connie. He's like, mine's this. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I can like switch them. It wasn't on anything. So
Wasn't on
It's
anything.
the Phoenix dive. It's tied uniquely to the Phoenix dive.
That new sidearm, by the way, the high. How do you
the
pronounce
Adobe,
that?
I think it's albedo.
Albedo.
The
the
Adobe.
Adobo.
The Adobo. Yeah, the Adobo.
Albedo.
I was having a lot of fun on that with controller, and then with sidearm or with M&K, I was like, yeah, that feels good, but like I don't know, there's something about controller about like the perfect. You know how the recoil changes a little bit depending on the input. Like it felt really, really good on controller. I got one with Killing Wind and what is that other perk? Killing Wind and Wellspring, which is a really fun roll. I may have to break that out tonight. I think I'm gonna play Hunter tonight, believe it or not.
You should, man. Hunter, those shuriken things are so disgustingly good.
They're
when you were,
very
I actually
fun.
forgot to mention this during the show, but when you were talking about Drew, people chasing, being dumb again, those shurikens will bounce straight behind you if you throw them on a wall in front of you and there's an enemy behind you. So I had a clip the other day where a shotgunner was chasing me and one of my teammates put damage on him, and I like threw it at the wall directly in front of me and like wrapped around a corner, and it went straight backwards and killed the guy behind me. Because the tracking is the exact same as the Sentinel Shield tracking. So you can just, how with the Sentinel Shield, you just throw it into a hallway and you're like, well, it's going to kill whoever's in there. It's the same with the Shurikens, it's just they don't do a ton of damage. I think they do 61. You can actually get critical hits with them. I think they do 91 on a critical hit.
Damn. Goddamn, son. I'm really. I'm really tempted to hop into the DCP. They do that thing where they'll talk in Discord before the show.
Yeah, the pre-show.
Yeah, the pre-show. I'm really tempted to roll in there. I'd be like, what the
They're in
hell
it
are
right
you
now.
doing?
Fucking Datto's in there. Holtzman is in there.
Yeah, they have a good show lined up. They got Datto and Holtz, which that's gonna be a good listen for those of you in the chat right now.
Oh yeah, that does sound good.
Holtzman brought up a fun thing the other day on Twitter. There was a huge discussion that we had when we were at Bungie. It was a hypothetical that was just brought up, but this would be a fun thing if we have like more than one more minute to talk about. But it was, would you like the raids to be multi-day events instead of like 6 hours?
Multi-day.
I feel like that's where the community's a little hung up with that topic. Is just the expectation of what a raid is to begin with. To me, it's a multi-day endeavor, not a couple hours.
I can't wrap my head around that. What would it look like as a multi-day?
The light level would probably be so far out of reach for anyone that you would be hard checked DPS wise until you leveled up by like grinding the raid to level up. And
really?
Yeah. And so it was like a hypothetical that was posed as like a thought exercise in one of the meetings. It was like discuss the pros and the cons of making this change from a community perspective. And yeah, Holtzman was adamant that yes, they should be multi-day because he looks at how epic the WoW raids are. And Spot Madison, who was one of the other gameplay specialists, was adamant that they should not because she's a raid Sherpa. She's done something like 1,000 raids.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was like, absolutely not. Like you would kill, like even though it would last longer, it would be kind of like what Last Wish was, where it was like, yeah, it was epic because those teams were like going down to the wire, but it burnt out a ton of people, and it it alienated a significant portion of the community in favor of two very famous people.
We're
really
offline. We're waiting for the
interesting
next
thought.
host because DCP is going to be on right after us. They have Datto and Holtzman. They're getting them together. So you can come.
So a lot of people also say like, why not a 12-man raid or something? I've heard like, no, that's gonna be too chaotic. Have you heard the comms and 6-mans? Like, well, what about compared to WoW? I mean, the standard number for Phantasy Star is 12, and I manage fine.
I would like there to be multiple fire teams so you could join in public chat. You know what I'm saying? How right now there's like game chat, party chat, or whatever it is. I would like it to like cycle through. You know how you can change teams when you're in a private game? You just go up and you can like double click and it will change teams. I would love to see that for chat, so that if they were to do a 12-man raid, you could like split into 2 chat groups for that part and then come back when you needed to at the end. But until I don't think they're ever going to do anything more than 6 people right now. I mean, we haven't even gotten big team battle in PvP.
Yeah.
And like 9v9, you would think would be like, to me, the more chaos, the better. But you would think 9v9 on some big ass maps and Destiny would just be a ton of fun.
Yeah, that would definitely be an interesting experience.
If you guys haven't pulled it out,
yeah,
pull out the Killing Wind Cold Denial, dude. It's just doing really.
Yeah.
I don't see too many of them, but it does really, really well in the current sandbox.
I think Cold Denial gets outranged because of the lack of zoom. I think it's easier to handle and a little bit more fun, but compared to No Time to Explain, I think it gets spanked pretty easily.
Dude, I get scared of No Time to Explain when I face them, man. When I'm like gunning
Strong
someone
gun.
and they're using No Time to Explain, I'm like, I'm out. Like, I'm
You can tell when
Yeah.
you like start hearing off like tempo shots coming that you know they've got their little buddy up.
tempo shot.
And
The Stranger's
yeah,
Rifle.
Yeah, legitimately,
That
it's
is
like
funny.
I will hear that and be like, that's someone I'm not going to engage, because it's like stepping out to a player and a half, and you know, it's like they have someone team shotting with them. So that's why I've been using it though. Like, I love it. I wish I could use it in Bastion.
I feel.
All right, Lucifer.
Yeah.
I feel like if we went offline right now on Twitch, we would force DCP to get their act together, start the show on time. Am I right?
Oh, huh. Yeah. Or there's just a wide open gap of time.
I still gotta bake a ham, bro.
Oh no, they're good. They're out of pre-show voice now, so that means they've gotten started.
Well, yeah, they're probably in there. God knows what they're talking about, though.
Centaur dicks. And
Centaur Dukes. It's a good time. Had
One more thing.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it up in the pod, but it's still a shame that
They're
Horror
ready,
Story
right?
and the Braytech Werewolf
Yeah.
were the centerpiece of Festival, man, and we just knew coming in
It's a shame.
that they were gonna suck. Like,
Yeah. They were bad. Oh well. And Watt's telling me in the chat, by the way, that they're basically ready.
basically ready.
So I say we take it offline, have a good time, hand the microphone over to them. What do you
Sounds good to
say?
me.
Well, I'm gonna stand up in 10 seconds, so we don't want to get permabanned off Twitch.
Good idea. Twitch chat, thank you for joining us. Stay right here. Don't go anywhere. It's the DCP double feature. DCP going live. They got Holtzman and Dado to talk about crazy new stuff and beyond, well, the stuff we've experienced so far in Beyond Light. So stick around. Thank you for joining us.